Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Bad people, welcome to our show. Anyone who wanna learn more about leadership, welcome. Today we are going to discuss about fresh insights take on leadership culture, how you can become a leader, how you can lead your team and provide great results. I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Celine Schillinger. How are you?
Hey, Anatoly, thank you very, very much for the invitation. A heartfelt thank you. I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, big pleasure. Wanna learn more about that? It's important for me. I remember many years ago, I ignored leadership. I just pay attention to develop my company, but in some time, I got it. I can't divide these directions. And actually, I remember when we worked on big project, I didn't have time to handle the process, to manage people, because all of my attention took this project, and a few good players left my team because of toxic environment. Then I started to learn more, to change approaches, and today I usually spend some time to learn more about leadership, about helping, supporting, kindness, many other things that can help my team and myself as well. It doesn't matter. It's not only about business; it's a family everywhere.
Mm.
Celine, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to pay so much attention to this important topic.
Well, first, thank you for sharing this experience you had, Anatoly, and this realization that, yeah, the human element, the human factor is critical because without it, unless you work in a all by I don't think you can ever work all by yourself for something. You always need interactions with people, maybe with suppliers or with stakeholders, whatever, but the 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 complicatedness is still here. It's how do we collaborate, how do we engage, motivate, how do we create a very strong, very effective, very dynamic collective group of people, right? That is open to the outside world, to innovation, to new ideas, to the complexity of new events and so on. But a collective that is open, but that is also cohesive, right? That is also that sticks together, that wants to achieve something together, where you don't have people fighting each other or competing with each other, and that's difficult. It's We're always walking a fine line between open and close, between sticking together but also welcoming newcomers, between solidifying a good culture but also staying agile, and being able to evolve. So it's complex, but it's also a fascinating field of study. So a little bit about myself: I grew up in France. I studied there, and then I went to work about 10 years in Asia Pacific. So I
Mhm.
stayed in Vietnam several years. I
Oh.
stayed in China several years. In between, I was a salesperson over Malaysia, Indonesia, Taiwan, and so on, other countries. And then after these 10 first years working in small companies, I joined a large company in France. And here I discovered the world of processes, heavy organizations, an attention to culture, but not a very innovative culture, I would say. A culture where top down control was very, very important for good reasons, but also this created a lack of opportunity, I feel, for people. So I tried different things. I created some experiments, I would
Mhm.
say, in engagements, networking, community mobilization, and that led me to eventually leave after 17 years in this company. So I stayed a long time. But then 5 years ago, I left and set up my own business and became a consultant in engagement leadership. That's how I describe it. Engagement leadership is a form of leadership that enables the mobilization, the active, this great collectives I was talking about.
Nice, awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love your international experience, especially today when my company is working globally. A lot of my clients are hiring globally.
Yeah.
Uh, and today we can hire people in the US, Canada, India, Vietnam, Ukraine,
Yes.
many
Yes.
countries except Russia. We
And
don't hire
did
in
yeah,
Russia.
of course. And did you notice how difficult it is to get people from different countries, different cultures? Sometimes we react very, very differently to
Hmm.
things,
Yeah.
and there can be a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of, and therefore missed opportunities. And yet, and I forgot to add that in my this international experience, I also spent 4 years in the U.S. In Boston, working for the big company I was working at that time, but working with teams located in Canada, U.S., France, and India. So very, very different cultures. And yet, I have found that across all cultures, we all want to make a difference. We all want to be respected. We all want to make things better, except the Russians, maybe, or those in position of power. But and so we can tap into this very human instinct, of making things better, working well, doing great work, doing great work together. Um, and this is not so difficult, I found. If we really want it, but that's a question, maybe. Yeah. Do
Hmm.
leaders really want to make their team fantastic, working so well that the team can even work without the leader? Or does the leader want to stay, to remain indispensable? Hmm?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because
Nice.
it's great for, a sense of power, a sense of control, so it's a choice. Hmm?
Yeah, love it, love it. Yeah, I think it's better to show power by helping and supporting others.
Yes.
Um, it's the most incredible power if you
Hmm.
can help and support, share value.
Yeah.
Celine, I want to ask about your book. It's interesting. I love reading books. And if you are talking about leadership, I think the most important book was written by Dale Carnegie many years ago.
Yes.
I love this book.
Mm.
It's awesome book, and uh, many aspects on this book are connected to digital marketing. I don't know. It's like personalization, understanding customers, people, influence them. Uh, I want to ask about your book because many other great books, and I have a huge list of books that I want to read, but I have no time to read 80% of all these books. Yeah, lack of time, sorry, but I keep reading them. It's my loving format. If I have time, I read almost every single day for some time. Uh, can you give me and my audience a strong reason to read your book? What kind of benefits can we get
Yes.
by reading your book? Yeah, just share more insights.
Okay, so first, this book has been recognized by Thinkers 50 as one of the 10 best new management
Wow.
books of 2023. It's a huge recognition. Thinkers 50 is an organization that recognizes the best thinking in management. And as a matter of fact, I have been shortlisted as well. In addition to this recognition for the book, because of the book, I have been shortlisted in the Oscars of management thinking. Can you believe
Nice,
it? So that's
nice,
one,
awesome.
the first reason. The second reason is the book has also been recognized by Porchlight in the US as the Strategy and Leadership Book of the Year. And that was in December 2022. Wow, out of, can't remember, like hundreds of books were submitted, and they picked this one,
Yeah,
Dare to
nice.
Unlead. Another reason is that this book is quite unusual. It's not a typical leadership book. Actually, I don't read many leadership books because I
Hmm.
find many of them are pretty boring. So I wanted to write something that is really anchored in real work, in the actual experiences I've been able to participate in. And it is structured. The organization of the book is very simple. The first part is about liberty, is about freedom. How do we create more freedom in the workplace rather than less? Because freedom creates responsibility. It creates self-determination. It creates a sense of agency, and when people have that, they work better. We work better, right? So the first part of the book is about freedom. The second part of the book is about equality. How can we be more um, involved in sort of equal relationships? Whatever, if you have done like um, great studies, it's wonderful. But if you have done not great studies, you matter anyway as well, right? And that's why I want to make sure that people, that organizations leverage their whole talent pool, and not just a few, not just those people who are coming out of Harvard or the MIT, right? Everybody matters. You can have fantastic insights from the shop floor, from frontline workers, from whatever, anybody. We all matter, and it's the diversity of people that matter. And so I believe here a huge opportunity lies in networks. How can we work more as a network? How can we leverage networks more? How can we network our organizations more? And finally, the third part of the book is about fraternity. How do we, or togetherness, how do we create a sense of chosen togetherness where people want to go to work because they want to work with their colleagues, because they find it uplifting and motivating and exciting, right? A lot of people go to work now with a sense of frustration, right? There or despair even. Some people
Yeah.
get burned out by work. Some people, quit work because they can't stand anymore those organizations made of power dynamics and internal competition and greed and all this. We can build fantastic organizations by leveraging new approaches to leadership and to collective performance. That's what I'm trying to explain in the book. I hope that these are good reasons enough for your
Oh,
listeners to read the book.
a lot more than enough, Yeah, I put your book on my list. Guys, you can find the link to this book in the
Thank
description.
you.
So if you want to read, I recommend to anyone because you can see it's valuable, so valuable. And I want to ask about employees, about people. According to many studies, 70% of people are unhappy with their jobs. Some of them hate their jobs. And I think, including in my company, I'm trying to create a positive environment. And
Mm,
I know some companies can disallow to play digital online games.
mm,
I don't.
mm.
Please, guys, play. Why not? We usually share some time when people can play. If they enjoy, why not?
Yeah.
Give them the chance to play. And we have it like 2 hours a day. So it's enough, not 2 hours, an hour and a half. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, because my employees can listen to this podcast. Tell me I'm lying. Yeah. Okay. An hour and a half, but it's enough, to play. And I'm trying to figure out, if people hate something, if I see they're unhappy, if I can't fix it, I think it's better even to them, not for me, to find another job. Because if you are unhappy, and I was on this boat. I remember when I started one project because of chasing money. I hired a big team, and we spent 3 years wasting a lot of resources, money. But at that time, I hated Monday. I loved Friday. And I got it. I
Yeah.
can't go ahead like this. I quit. I I gave up. And I usually recommend to anyone, if you hate what you do, leave it. You have one life. You don't need to regret about your life. Just find something that you like. That's why today I can work on Sunday evening, Saturday night, because I love it. It's like my
Yeah.
hobby, instead
Yeah.
of watching TV. Can you tell about methods how to encourage employees, how to learn from them that something is going wrong, how to fix it? Any tips how to increase productivity by thinking about your employees, not customers?
Yes, this is a great question. I have one simple tip. There's more in the book, but one simple tip: involve people as early as possible in the change or in the work. If you keep people in the dark, if you decide everything on your own or with just a few, team members or advisors or direct reports, but everybody else is left in the dark and does not participate and is not, is made aware later on in the process, you will have people waiting for instructions, never happy enough of what they get, the information they get, because they don't feel considered, they don't feel involved, they don't feel they count, they don't feel they matter. So my advice is involve people as early as possible in designing the work, but it's also about in making sense of the environment, involving people in designing the strategy together. So, for example, if you have a large organization, 500 more, or even a bit smaller, of course you cannot get 500 people in a room all the time. This is not realistic. But you can get a diversity. You can create networks, you can create communities, you can create platforms, you can surround yourself with people from different, places, from different areas of the organization, and create a sort of a habit for conversations, co-creation, etc. Because people own what they help create. People own what they help create. If you create the sense of ownership, right, people will behave like owners and not like renters. So instead of leaving people in the back seat, the idea is to bring them into the driver's seat along with you. So to share
Nice.
power. So that's not necessarily comfortable for everybody. Some leaders don't like to share power, but actually, power gets bigger when you share it. That's a
Nice.
magic recipe for sure.
Awesome.
If you involve many people in the decision making, then those people join forces, develop engagement, bring in new ideas, leverage their own personal networks, and so on. It's a win-win situation, really, for everybody. You don't have, if you do that, you don't have like what happens in many organizations where you have too much work um, put on too few people, and the rest is just waiting to be told what to do. No,
Yeah.
you need to spread, to distribute leadership. That's the idea behind unlead, what I say in the book.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, great insights. Love it. Love
Mm.
it. I think, I don't like to limit my team
Yeah,
to do something. For
yeah.
example, I don't have special checklist. I usually tell them, it's just template. Your goal is to make it better.
Yeah.
If you have something, think how to improve.
Mm.
And I don't want to limit and don't make mistakes. Make mistakes.
Mm.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. Some of them so terrible mistakes, and that's okay. I think if you don't make mistakes, you're not innovative enough. You can't
Mm.
go ahead to change the industry. Yeah,
Mm.
love it, love it.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
let's talk about toxic environment. Can you tell how it appeals, what to do, and how to avoid toxic environment? Because it's common issue. It's not only that I had this experience. Many companies have it. So, any tips about that?
Yes, and I have felt myself, I have been in toxic environments as well. And I would say the environment, you cannot change that much unless you are the CEO of a department of the company, or but you can change your reaction to a toxic environment. If you feel powerless, if you feel very if you just feel frustrated, and that's the frustration becomes so big that there's nothing else you can do, then things may go really wrong. People may end up sick or even worse. But when you have power, when you feel powerful, then you react much better to a toxic environment. And where does power come from? There are several sources of power, I would think: knowledge, connections, friends, and probably others. But these are two I'm thinking of in particular. Maybe a third would be to claim a voice. So take ownership of what you think instead of, going with the flow and just being a victim of the toxic environment. So let's get back to all three. Knowledge. How can you develop knowledge? How can you increase your abilities, your competencies, etc., that will maybe help you quit this toxic environment? Maybe you will be in a better place elsewhere. So the wise thing to do might be to cultivate knowledge, experience, maybe attend some, I don't know, professional associations, whatever, training courses, you name it. There's so many ways. But develop knowledge so that you are in a better position to negotiate, to live. Knowledge creates freedom. Hmm? Connections. Connections give power. So make friends, go out, reach out to more people instead of staying, in your corner and crying over the toxic environment you're in. Reach out, speak, have honest conversations about what you're feeling, but also be curious about what others do and how they react, what have they developed as strategies in this, etc. The more friends you make, the more networks, the more connection, here again, the bigger your freedom capacity, and finally, claiming your voice. That's something I did personally that has been enormously helpful in my own case. I was at a there was a period of time when things were pretty dull at work, and it was really really horrible. And I had already started to develop, experiments. And one friend of mine said to me, "Why don't you create a blog? Why don't you blog about this?" That was back in 2013, so 10 years ago. And I was like, "Oh, me, a blog? I can never do that. I have nothing to say." And I mean, I found all the good reasons, and he kept pushing me gently until I said, "Okay, let me try. I'll try." And the blog was a lifesaver for me because it enabled me to claim back my voice, my opinions, to speak about what was happening, to analyze, to take a step back, create a little distance between the toxic environment and me, and that is life saving. So, and this blog eventually helped me. It helped me think. It helped me learn. It helped me create connections, and it became a platform for public speaking, attending conferences, making more friends, more knowledge, and so on, which eventually led me to creating my own company. So the original blog became the core, the node, the central node of my current website. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Don't be a
Mhm.
victim. Don't let others dictate your fate. You have more power than you think. If you connect with others, if you create more knowledge, and if you share your views.
Yeah. You remind me a quote from Napoleon, and he said, plus 200 years ago, that many people can't succeed because they listen to others, including their family members. And I love my mom, I love my father, but many times they advised me to do what they think is better for me,
Yeah.
but they don't know what is better for me.
Yes.
And
Yes. Mm.
when I was young, they decided that I can become musician, but I hate it. I hate it. It's not my the direction. I respect musicians if they love it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not one of them. So yeah, and today I listen to my son a lot. He told me he loves playing soccer. Okay, let's play soccer. It's great direction. Why not? You can play soccer. And I think we need to listen not only kids, we need to listen to everyone,
Mm.
and to give them what they want
Hmm.
to do. And my best advice to anyone: don't listen to others. If it's
Yeah.
not your direction, it, don't care, even
Yeah.
if it's your mom.
Yeah.
Love your
Yeah.
mom, but be yourself. It's your
Yeah.
life. You
Yeah.
don't live for others.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And
Actually, I would say listen to people who can uh, the people who are uplifting, people who
Mhm,
bring you into to do better, to increase your impact, or these are people
mhm,
worthy of listening to. And also people who share their very honestly, their experience and their fears. Even it's important also to acknowledge that, yeah, some things are a bit dangerous, a bit risky, a bit sometimes very risky. And but and yeah, what the journey of well, as you said, we only have one life. Some people
mhm.
are more on the cautious side, others are more risk taking. It's fine. We need people of all kinds, but for sure, don't let anyone limit your possibilities. That's absolutely for sure.
Yeah. But by the way, I have a friend, and he believes that he has much better life after death, and he's so happy about that. And after that, I thought, why I don't believe in that? If it makes me happy, sometimes we need to cheat our minds, and that's okay. I can cheat myself.
Yeah.
If I don't feel good, I can cheat myself that I'm feeling good, and it helps.
Yes.
Doctors always do it. They lie to their patients. You will be fine. And it, according to studies, plus 20% of treatment believe. Eh, I like how big companies can test new drugs.
Mm.
They give to patients and don't tell what kind of drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they know after taking the pill, plus 20% are only because you take this pill. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh,
It's the
the,
placebo effect. Yes, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I started. Even I don't feel good. I usually tell my no. What are you talking about? You are feeling so good. Enjoy your life. Yeah. Why not? If you can cheat yourself, like my friend, he's so good. He's so happy. You know. wh- uh, wh-
Is that's a
I
real that's a real gift. Sometimes I think like all entrepreneurs probably the entrepreneur's life or mood is like that. It's sometimes you feel sometimes in the same day or even in the same hour you feel super excited and very very high, and then you feel really down because you're thinking about something else or bad news coming, or and it's you have to accept living with this uncertainty and ups and downs. because in the
Yeah.
end, um, in you learn, you keep learning, you keep making new things, you keep unexpected things arrive, and life is wonderful,
Nice.
in the
Yeah.
end, right?
Yeah, of course, a hundred
Yes.
percent. And what I like in my friend, he doesn't earn a lot of money,
Mm.
not the best money, but it's interesting. He usually tells to anyone he earns a lot, and it's enough for him, and
Yeah.
he earns a lot. Someone can earn millions, but
Mm.
can't be more happy than my friend.
Hmm.
He's happy with something that he has, and he always shares. He's so successful whatever he does, and I love it. I love it. And usually tell my son, if you make mistakes, that's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yes.
learn from them. And
Mm.
I like when my son can cheat himself. I'm so good soccer player.
Yes.
How many examples on this life when teachers, tutors told you are so bad,
Mm.
you can't achieve anything
Mm.
before someone can tell, no, you're so good. And
Mm.
many people achieve great
Yes.
success,
Mm.
including Leo Messi. He was small, short,
Yeah.
without physical conditions to
Yeah.
become the best player in the world in soccer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 See,
That's quite
yeah.
quite amazing, huh?
Nice.
Mm.
Celine, I
Yeah.
want to ask about mistakes. We started
Mm.
to speak a little bit about mistakes as well. And in my life, I made a lot of mistakes, terrible
Mm.
mistakes, slight mistakes, all mistakes. I keep
Mm.
doing them. Sometimes I don't know how to do something without mistakes. I need to
Yeah.
do them to learn how it works
Yep.
and to go ahead. So,
Mm.
can you list mistakes that people can avoid in
Mm.
management and leadership? I mean, like some mistakes we
Mm.
can learn before doing,
Yeah.
and some
Yeah.
mistakes it's better to do to learn from them. So, list mistakes that
Yes.
we can avoid.
I'm thinking of one typical mistake, which is the feeling that you can solve all problems. You
Mhm.
can never solve all problems on your own. It's impossible. So you need to be surrounded. You need to be surrounded by people who um, are confident that they can speak their mind. They can tell you honestly what they think, because some managers, without even realizing sometimes, um, create a sense of fear around them, right? They cast a shadow over other people, and they don't even realize. Maybe they're a bit brutal in their language, or maybe they make jokes, and they don't think about how these words or this tone or this lack of empathy may be perceived by other people. And so what you'll get in that situation, when you don't pay attention to this the feelings and so on, you'll have people who say yes to everything you say. They will not dare say no. They will not dare bring new ideas. They will not dare contradict you. And what this the outcome of this is generally failure, because then you are in your bubble, your confirmation bubble, and you may drive the company into a very wrong direction, and nobody will say anything because of that. So that's the first thing. Believe not the mistake we can avoid: believing we can solve all problems, believing that it's faster to do everything on our own than to involve more people. It may look faster, but in the midterm and long term, it is very detrimental to the business. Very, very, because you rip people out of you, remove from people this sense of agency, this sense of autonomy, and clearly you transform people into followers, right? And I think a modern leader doesn't have followers. A modern leader is someone who is surrounded by many, 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 many other leaders, right? It's to create the capacity, the environment, the willingness, all the right conditions for everybody around you to become leaders too, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. If you can encourage others to become
Ex-
leaders.
exactly.
Yeah. I like Taylor Swift because he can encourage his team and
Yes.
she's hiring the best
Yeah.
specialists in music, and
Yeah.
she pays them $1 million.
Hmm.
That's why she's the best,
Yes.
because she cooperates with the best and encourage
Yeah.
them. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
She's awesome. Mm.
Yeah, Celine, I want to ask about your experience. I have students in my network who are
Mm.
looking for ways how to learn, how to go ahead. I cooperate with clients who don't understand what I do. I usually tell them before hiring me, cooperating with me, you need to learn because it's hard to achieve great results without understanding the
Mm.
basic. So learn the basic, then we can go ahead like a cohesive team. I
Mm.
want to ask you if you started today from scratch. Forget about your international experience. Forget about Asia, US. You're still in France,
Mm.
young, and wanna discover this world. What will you do today if you started completely from scratch?
Hmm. Wow, that's a great question. I'm thinking of my son who is 18 years old and who is just, starting, like in the next few days, he will start to go to university. He is passionate about politics, and I was too. And when I was younger, I studied at the Political Science Institute, and I'm still very, very much interested in this. So I would probably do the same studies again, because I find that even this work that I'm doing is very political. It's a work where I'm trying to bring people together instead of the current fragmentation of society, the fragmentation, the divisions, divisions between people who I don't know, vote for the left and people who vote for the right, or people between people of different colors or different countries, or obviously I'm thinking about the war. But the fragmentation of society is very real, and I think that work is a place where we can reconnect people in their diversity, people who do not necessarily agree on everything. It's fine. We do not necessarily need to agree with everybody, and this will not be achievable anyway. We have different values, different, stories, and so on. But we can agree on something, that is to work together to create a better world. And now I'm hoping to be able to contribute to this through leadership, this engagement leadership. But really, deep down, I find that this work is very political, and we need political leaders with a conscience, with the instead of people who profit from division and who just spread more oil on fire, which is a horrible thing to do. I think the problems we have to face as a humanity are so big, climate, whatever. We need everybody to join forces together and solve them together. It's crazy for me to see those people who exploit divisions and who just add to the fragmentation of the world. It's terribly, um, I'm terribly sorry to see that. So I'm hoping, I remain an optimist, and I'm hoping that normal people like us can contribute to shifting the balance towards collaboration, towards a form of collective conscience, being working together for a better world.
Nice, awesome, awesome, love it. I agree. We need to cooperate to help others and
Mm,
create a better world for next generation, for
yeah.
our kids. And I wanna ask my last question about the future. Many things are coming. we have AI today, and Jeff Coyle, co-founder of Market Muse, told me that in the future we will have three companies. The first company will develop AI, the second company implement, and the third company will be obsolete. Who can leave the trade? uh, and yeah, Apple is going to launch headset like augmented reality. By the way, I don't see a big difference because all people take their phones to watch the screen you just have on your head. Probably virtual reality will come. I don't know. Many
Mm.
things are coming, but
Mm.
human are the same.
Yeah.
Many books are written about human psychology. People don't change. Just technologies usually
Yeah.
change. So, Celine, give your thoughts about future. What kind of future will be, and how we can
Mm.
prepare for this possible future.
That's a great question, Natalie. Thank you. I think, as you noticed, as you said very rightly, technology is going to continue to take a bigger and bigger role in our lives, and that's where I think we need more attention to the human side of things. We could, in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we could just, uh, like neglect this. We could, have people working like machines, like robots in big factories. Now, with artificial intelligence and all those things, we need to be really mindful of the human element of work. Are we going to let go of all the humanity, everything that makes us humans, and let everything be done by AI, algorithms, and so on? I think that's a dream. That's a fantasy. I think it will not happen. um, but it's so we need more humanities. We need more students coming out of humanities studies, sociology, psychology, that kind of things. We cannot afford to have a world where 100% of people are engineers. We need uh, cr- increase the diversity of talents in our organizations, so that yes, we do have amazing engineers, but we also have amazing psychologists and people and sociologists and philosophers and that kind of things. I think it's a good balance or a good integration of this diversity of perspectives that will make our future successful. If we only rely on technology, we're lying to ourselves. This will not work.
Nice. Yeah, I think engineers need some engagement as well.
Yeah.
So they need to watch soccer, basketball, hockey.
Yes.
They need to listen to great music, to
Yeah.
watch uh, interesting TV shows. So, yeah, and that's okay if you love something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect engineers, I respect sportsmen, I respect anyone who do something that they love.
Yeah.
So, and then engineers are productive. No,
Yeah.
if they get more from other niches as well. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love it, Celine. It's a
Mm.
big pleasure to get in my
Mm.
show, to learn from you. I love it. I'm going to read your book, to review your book on my social media. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
All right. So you can reach out to me on my website, weneedsocial.com, and on LinkedIn, I would say is the easiest other form. And then I have Instagram and Twitter less and less because I hate what Elon Musk has done to Twitter. A little bit of Mastodon, a little bit of other things, but basically website and LinkedIn, you're safe with that.
Yeah. By the way, it's interesting. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. but
Mm.
I'm not sure he's happiest man in the world.
I
My friend,
totally agree. Totally agree
yeah,
with you. Yeah.
yeah, my friend can earn a lot less money, 20%
Yeah.
of Elon Musk stake, but he's more happy, And
Sure.
I
For
wanna
sure.
learn from him how to be
Mm.
happy like this than
Yeah.
from Elon Musk.
Yeah. For
Anyway,
sure.
I respect Elon Musk. I respect others.
Yeah.
Everyone has their ways, so that's
Mm.
okay. If it's legal, why not?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Celine, it's a big pleasure again. Love it. So valuable. Guys, you can find all the links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.